All right, so let me talk about economics for just a minute. Can we do a little bit of that? You don't mind that, do you? Baltimore has 0 Fortune 500 companies. Maryland has only 3 Fortune 500 companies. Companies such as Beretta have moved operations out of the state. They've taken hundreds of jobs with them. So how do you propose to stop the exodus of companies and make Maryland and even the city of Baltimore a destination point for major companies again? Studies using IRS data show that nearly 40,000 people moved out of Maryland. They took about $2 billion with them. So as governor, what do you see as the main reasons for the exodus, and how are you going to reverse this, David?
We have the experience of seeing what happened as the county executive when we would try to help businesses stay here, but we worked at it because the thing is, my wife and I have 3 children, and they all have the same last name, but they're all different. You have to reach out to each different company in a different way to find out what is the stress that the state is providing for that company to keep them. Now, it is sometimes very nice to hear that our governor went to India or to Brazil to get new jobs here, but you should be concentrating as the governor, and David Craig will be concentrating as the governor to keep the jobs here. The governor now can't do the math. You lose Sparrows Point, you lose 30,000 jobs, but if 3,000 move in, he says, oh, we have 3,000 new jobs. No, we lost 27,000 jobs. We've lost General Electric. We've lost so many different ones. So you have to reach out to each individual company and corporation, find out what is their particular problem, help them overcome that problem, and then have them stay here in the state of Maryland. So you work on the ones here first, and we've done that on a regular basis in Harford County. Whenever a company is in trouble, we work with them and we make sure that it gets done, and we make sure they stay there because we want those jobs there, we want that quality of life to stay there, we want the economy there. And a lot of it is through the income tax and the corporate income tax and making sure we get rid of them.
Okay, Charles.
It boils down to 3 things: regulations, fees, and taxes. It boils down to the fact that we've had 74 new tax increases, a little bit more than that actually with this last General Assembly, that have been pressed upon Marylanders across the board. Listen, businesses are leaving because they're trying to find better places to do business that don't cost them as much. Where did Beretta go? They went to Tennessee. What do you know about Tennessee? There's no personal income tax. They're leaving for areas. We even have the state of New York competing and buying airtime in Maryland, trying to convince businesses to leave Maryland and come to New York.
Well, what would you do to stop that as governor?
Well, as we outlined earlier, we got to pass a real taxpayers' Bill of Rights. We have to change the economic infrastructure that currently exists. We need to reopen up enterprise zones here in Baltimore City that allows for manufacturing jobs to come into Baltimore City and hire Baltimore Cityans and receive some type of tax breaks toward that end, and re-implement these types of things. In some places, I've said this earlier, in Baltimore City, unemployment's almost as high as 33%. People have to know that you care. It's not all about just focused on businesses or employers. We're also concerned about the employees. As I go from college to college across the state, one of the main things I hear from college students is, I'm going to re-enroll for graduate school because I just can't find a job. We have to change that, and jobs will come back to our state if we're willing to have that conversation with them one-on-one. And we've already began doing this and bringing them back as long as they can say, hey, this is where we want to come back to. We can deal with these enterprise zones. We can get high school students doing internship work right there at our facilities instead of waiting to college before they have internship opportunities.
David.
I'm the one that didn't answer, right?
Ron. Yes, Ron.
Ron, I'm sorry,
Okay.
please. You have no idea how friggin' confusing this is.
David, Ron,
I
George.
already got two first names. I don't need another. Okay. The fact is, I'm a businessman, and let me tell you something about business. Businesses need predictability. In Maryland, you don't have it. Even if they attract someone here, they can make what promises they do, but then they take it away. The people that do our infrastructure and our roads have no predictability when the governor keeps robbing the Transportation Trust Fund. We need predictability. Government needs to keep its promises. People aren't trusting the government, and I got to tell you something, businesses do not trust the government. Regulation is very, very hard here. I have to tell you that the people doing the regulating don't understand the business that they're regulating. We need members of the regulated community to be part of the regulators, part of that process. Now, I did that with MDE because they didn't understand a lot of things, and we did get people of the regulated community into the MDE, which has helped some, but we need to do this across the board in Maryland at every department. My friends, you're going to hear news shortly, more than likely, that McCormick is leaving. Now, that's going to happen. I just don't see any other way. Why would they stay? They're talking about it. They haven't made an announcement yet. I don't want to, jump the gun on them or anything. I'm not trying to be negative. But I'm a businessman. I had to have the discussion with my sons. I'm still young enough to help you get established in another state. I almost had tears in my eyes. My family goes back in Maryland to the late 1600s, the George name, up and down the eastern shore. This is the state I love. I love this state. This is where I grew up. I'm not going to run. I'm going to fight. But I had to make sure that they were with me, and they were. And they get it. I wouldn't wish it on anybody this state, but we're going to change it, and we will get those businesses back. Why would you locate here, as tough as it is, when the government's working against you? Small businesses like my own have gotten rid of their bookkeepers, and they're doing the job themselves at home on the kitchen table, mom and pop. We've got to stop this. Fortune 500 companies, Northrop Grumman, the 3 last CEOs of Northrop Grumman are now in Florida in the same community, and they live there 6 months and a day. They pay their taxes. Well, they don't pay income tax down there, but they don't have to pay Maryland's, right? So I think that's part of the problem. We need to change that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well,